We all exist in a context. The world makes us what we are. Very few of us change the world. And living in a context, we must change according to the context to ensure our own survival and growth. And this depends upon the pace of growth and the pace of change. Let's look at history. For thousands of years, the world lived in empires and kingdoms. Thousands of years. That was the construct of society at large. We heard history about the great empires, the fights they had, etc. So it was a feudal society with a few people at the top, the great majority being the people who were like cannon fodder and who were chattel and property of the lords. And then came trade, when the world opened up to trade. Trade with the East, trade with India, the Silk Route becoming more important, all led to the accumulation of wealth in the merchant class and the trading class, and that led to a different kind of growth happening around the world. And the countries on the coast, which were leading in trade, Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, England, they all became great trading powers and set up colonies. Then came the age of machines, and the world changed. It changed in 15 years. Because once you had machines, your dependence on human muscle and animal power for work reduced. All great civilizations and great countries depended upon wealth by the size of the population. So India and China, largest economies in the world, 45% of the world in 1820, because they're the largest number of people. Because they were artisans, they made things with their hands and with rudimentary equipment. Then came the machine. The invention of steam machine 200 years ago changed the world, because the steam machine and the steam engine, you could harness the latent energy in coal by heating up water and making it to steam to drive machines and propulsions. And that led to the factories, that led to specialization, that led to urbanization, that led to flow of people from the rural areas, that led to population growth because of the creation of wealth and the rise of great nations in a very different context. And the impact was the East, which depended upon the traditional method of governance and rule, that declined. Between 1820 and 1870, Asia, India, China declined in proportion by 30-40%. Europe grew because Europe had the machine. And they got the people from rural areas, exploited women, children. You read Charles Dickens. Some of you are old enough to have read Charles Dickens. And you would have seen the result of the Industrial Revolution in England. And that led to the age of machines, and that led to the rise of Europe as an economic power. The white man ruled the world. They said in Africa, the white man came to Africa with the Bible and the black man had the land. Very soon the black man had the Bible and the white man had the land. It's all true. So the world changed again. At one point of time in their empires, people fought wars. They came on horses, they came by foot, they threw spears, and they fought wars. 20,000, 40,000 were killed, 50,000 were killed. You conquered nations, you butchered people. The Hindu Kush is a place where there were skulls of people, Hindus, who were butchered by the invaders. Then we had the First World War. 16 million people were killed in 5 years. The First World War started with cavalry and infantry, ended with planes and tanks. Look at the change, just 4 years. The First World War started at Sarajevo when Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated by an anarchist. Right? And at that point of time, look at the construct of the world. There was the Tsar, 600 years rule in Russia. There was the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, 600 years. The French had a republic, very uncertain. The British had an empire in Europe. Then in the Middle East, you had the Ottoman Empire from the 14th century till then. In the East, the Japanese Empire, isolated. Then you have the Chinese Empire, 2,500 years. India is, of course, getting colonized at that point of time. And in 5 years, the world changed. Russia became a socialistic republic. The communists took over. The working class took over. Marx's prophecy about the rise of the proletariat was put into practice because of the sheer exploitation of the working class. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire died. You know, about 4 years ago, we were in Vienna on a holiday. Suddenly we saw the town shut down. And we were wondering what is happening. Then we saw a procession. And it was the funeral procession of Otto von Habsburg, the last emperor of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, who abdicated at the age of 13 in 1919. So we had some 60 different nationalities with the dress marching, the soldiers marching, the bands marching. It's a very poignant moment. The demise of great empires. The German Empire was destroyed. Kaiser Wilhelm was gone. The French were nowhere because after Napoleon, they never won a war. The British were enfeebled. America rose because she entered the war in 1917 and grew her economy. The Ottoman Empire was gone. 600 years of history, boom. And Sykes and Picot, two diplomats, carved up the entire Middle East in a warm afternoon over a cup of tea, drawing a line, making Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Lebanon, making Jordan, making Palestine, Iraq. They created all these countries out of nowhere on a piece of paper. These countries didn't exist. And Kemal Ataturk fought back to get Turkey back because Turkey was invaded by the Greeks. And they wanted to break up Turkey too, except Kemal Ataturk fought back and declared Turkey to be a secular republic and abolished the caliphate. The abolition of the caliphate, which remained there since the time of Ali, has its impact today in the same area. Don't forget, the world changed. And in 1920, I think, 20 or 21, in a railway carriage near Versailles in Paris, the Germans wrote away the country, reparations and all that. And that little piece of paper led to the rise of Hitler, the Second World War. Again, the age of machines. So killing people became very big, very easy. The Zulus in Africa were a warrior race. The Impi, the Zulu troops, used to go and conquer people, intimidate people. The Gatling gun killed 40,000 of them in just 5 hours. Demolished the entire empire. Shaka was gone. Age of machines. Then came Second World War. The Poles came on horses. The Germans came on tanks and motorized vehicles. They went 50 kilometers a day. The French built a Maginot Line dividing Germany and France. Hitler sidestepped and conquered France and came to Paris and marched on the Champs-Élysées and rang up his chief of staff. Is Paris burning? Read the book. He went to Russia, lost the battle like Napoleon, came back defeated. The grand army of Napoleon is 1 million. Only 50,000 came back. Here 4 million went. Nobody came back. The Russian winter defeated them. The war ended. Atomic bomb came, etc. Why am I telling you all this? You must look at history to see the context. If you lead between the time 1914 to 1945, it's a very different world. Unbelievably different. From the age of empires to the age of republics, from the age of imperialism, colonies, to the age of independent countries, from the age of Great Britain to the age of America. Right? And 2 generations of young people were massacred all over the world. And in the East, in 1919, the Chinese emperor fell. Puli, gone. And then Sun Yat-sen declared the republic. They had civil war. 1949, Mao took over. The world East was red. Large parts of the world were red. Then we had the Cold War. Then we had the rise of Japan, rise of Germany, rise of Southeast Asia, China. The world is changed. Then now look at the situation today. China is the largest country in the world in economy, $21 trillion. United States is number 2. The US is only 17% of GDP. China is growing at 5 to 6%. US is 2.5%. Europe's population is shrinking. They're not producing enough babies. You have to produce enough babies. South India was 30% of India in 1971. South India is 25% of India in 2011. Fertility rate in South India is 1.7. Replacement is 2.1. North India's fertility rate is 2.4. You're in the right place. You're going to rule the country. Though I don't know, when I say you, I'm not sure you, it is you. You know who. So, you're seeing this unbelievable change happening. Now, in this new world, in the world where the millennials or whatever it is, Nandita and all of you talk about, younger people, come together, you're going to face a new world. Now till 2030, the pace of change is going to be even more rapid than it's been for the last 50 years. Why is it happening? It's happening because of one important development. Machines have got intelligence. Machines have got intelligence. What made us apart from machines? Machines were inanimate. They had to be ruled by men or women. And you control them. Now machines can control themselves. I read about an AI baby. AI baby, Nandita. And the AI baby is a baby of an AI algorithm which has created an algorithm which recreates itself. AI has defeated the brightest Go player, which is supposed to be a complex Chinese game, the brightest chess player, everything else. And just last month, there was a video on YouTube about a robot which does a backflip, stands here, flips over backwards, and lands on the feet. There's a robot in MIT which is supposed to run faster than the cheetah. The cheetah goes 60 kilometers an hour at top speed. Built like a cheetah. Then you got these autonomous cars which look at everything and go by themselves. So machines get intelligence. What happened to human beings? And the machines get intelligence, and the machines are not tired. In China, my friend went to a factory which was 1 kilometer in depth, half a kilometer in width, and dark. He said, is it closed? They said, no. They're all robots. Robots don't need light. Robots don't need light because the machines work based upon distances. They don't need light. They don't see. They sense by signals, by wireless. And if it stops, something comes, red light comes, you sit on a PC, you control it, or go somewhere, set it right. We went to Tesla from AIMA. Huge, giant robots pounding away, improving productivity. Working 24/7. And they don't ask you for an increment. They don't ask you for an appraisal. They don't want leave. They don't fall sick. Of course, they go sick differently. No increment. The cost of a fully costed robo is $5 an hour. And in Seattle and New York, people are asking for minimum wages of $15 an hour. Look at the audacity of these people. An audacity of hope, wrote Obama. I don't know what audacity and what hope. All of them are coming up and say, give me more, just like David Copperfield said. Give me more. Give you more? Get the robots. Foxconn replaced 50,000 young girls who asked for a raise with 50,000 robots. Out of 1.1 million employees, they're going to replace 500,000 of them in the next 5 years with robots. China is the largest manufacturer of robots. And robots can now make those iPhones because it requires fingering dexterity in the fingers. They come a thing to do most of the assembly because they got dexterity in the fingers. And the robots are replacing these girls. But the girls ask for an increment. It's all a HR problem. Imagine the time when you have a HR manager and all your employees are robots. Can it come by? Well, the HR manager may be a robot or an algorithm. Is this something out of science fiction? No. Why is it happening? It's happening because we are in the age of disruption. Everything is getting disrupted. Like I said in the morning, energy is getting disrupted. If the Middle East thinks they're going to rule us by oil, it's gone. We're going to be in solar and the wind and electric cars. If Germany thinks they're going to rule us by automobile, they're gone because electric cars are coming up everywhere. Right? If manufacturers in China think they're going to do everything, it's coming back to America and they're doing 3D printing. And billionaires are going to live longer because they're trying to find out what triggers the DNA in your body to age. What is aging? Aging happens when your body cells don't regenerate at the same pace they did earlier after you pass 30. After 30, you're pretty good. After 30, you slowly deteriorate. Look at Dravid. Dravid went to Australia in the tour, got bowled between bat and pad 4 times and came back and said, I'm gone. Why? Because eye, leg and hand coordination stopped. 4 times. Tendulkar, he wanted to play on and on. His body didn't work. He gave a cut We thought the ball went to the boundary, like in Australia, but it's caught at slip. And Kapil Dev, some of you remember him, he was running, bowling faster and faster, flighting the ball. In his mind, he's bowling fast, but the hand and ball are not moving. I played cricket till 45, and I was batting, and I came and hit the ball somewhere. And they were saying, yeah. I said, good. I saw my wickets were gone. Why? Between my bat coming down, everything coming down, mind seeing the ball going, the ball is gone. Why? And that's aging, because the body cells regenerate. Now they're trying to find out what triggered the signal in your cells to trigger the declining generation of body cells. And if you can postpone the trigger or send in some other trigger, you can do it. And they're doing brain research. The brain has 82 billion neurons. There are neurons and synapses. And the synapses connect. And the brain and the synapses work through weak electrical currents. They're trying to see whether you can stimulate the brain by pushing in weak electrical currents. And on mice, they made the mice twitch his legs because you send a current. And now they're putting brain engine. Chris told me in Nandita that he's spending money on brain. Said, your DNA, which passes to your progeny, carries memory of your life. So many people dream about the previous life and Punajanm, and the memory is there in the DNA. That's the theory they're developing. They're not very sure. He told me that. So this previous birth, I was here, I was there, that memory may be the result of some DNA. So this change is changing tremendously. Life science is changing, medicine is changing, education is changing, financial services is changing, capital is flowing through. And all this is going to happen in 15 days, 15 years in all facets of work. And Srikanth and his industry are making it happen faster because they're giving you unlimited data capacity at no cost. 149 rupees, unlimited GB, right? 149 bucks is a giveaway. And somebody is giving away free. Uncle is giving away free. Uncle generates 50,000 crores of cash. And he said, big boys don't cry. Huge amount of data capacity, a smartphone which has more intelligence and capacity than any machine, available to everybody. Now we're going to get a smartphone for 1,500 rupees, maybe 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, everybody. I went to a political leader and told that political leader, give away 5 crores smartphones to all the BPL women to whom you are giving LPG stoves. Why? Because you're going to empower these women, connect them to the economy. And I said, I look forward to the day in India when a woman in the remote part of Thar will wake up, maybe find a child sick, go on FaceTime and call up the Prime Minister and tell him, my child is sick, I want help. And within half an hour, a helicopter will land and take the child to the hospital. Look at that world. And we get this world where on a cell phone, you can see movies, you can see songs, you can talk to your children, you can do video, you can get entertainment, you can get health, you can get education, you can listen to lectures, you can travel around the world. You can do financial transactions. You can do e-commerce. You can do anything on this small piece of equipment. And everybody can do that. The world will be connected. It will be one single world, Sonia. Right? And all the beautiful designs you do will go to 1 billion people. Now, is it a pipe dream? It's happening right now, and you are in the midst of it. And that is the theme of this conference. Rebooting organizations in the age of disruption. So we are in the age of disruption. And the pace of change is going to go faster. Much more than ability to think, conceptualize, and understand. And you ought to see what's happening in the US, because the US is where it happens the most, is a rich economy, is a large economy, and the impact is being felt. In the last 15 years, middle class income has not gone up at all. It came down by $5,000 in the last 2 years, only now it's gone up by $4,000. And 10 million jobs are gone, automated. So the idea of earning $250,000, having 2 homes, summer home, one yard gate, all boom. Jobs are being produced at the bottom, where individual guys are there. At the top, where there's creativity. The middle class jobs, where we lie, come to seminars like this, talk for one day, go back, get a fat salary, and 1 month leave, and increments and all that. It's a bit sad. I'm okay. I'm past that little bit of time, and you have to worry about all that. The millennials will worry about that unless they have their parents' money to spend, and they're going to have a lot of their parents' money to spend, so you don't have to feel sorry for them. But in this space, in this changed world, what should business do? Now, business has become the rhinoceros of the earlier era. Big and large and fat. Not able to move, not able to respond. What do you do with organization of 300,000 people, 400,000 people, revenues of $50 billion, $100 billion? You can't move. And you got this small guys coming and attacking them like drones all over the place. And the market is backing them. Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu are about $1 trillion. $1 trillion? G is just 120 billion. G makes everything. And you're giving them absurd valuation. And the more losses they make, the more money they make, more value they get. It turns the laws of economics upside down. But their people are smart because they're disrupting. So what they do is, in financial market, they sell the established player, sell it short and buy here. And these people grow and you put more and more capital there till it comes to a stage, then you go away. SolarCity is a company in the valley which does solar panels on the top to give you power, and because they can give you power at the grid price and you can feed into the grid and make money, and they do it on a leasing model, people are buying that, taking it PE up to 100 and selling off all the utilities, Edison and everybody else. So in this era, what should organizations do? That is the topic. Rebooting your organization to survive. Survive. The word was chosen with care. Maybe serendipity, but today I'll say it's chosen with care. Survive the age of disruption. There's an age of disruption, we are in it. And how do enterprises survive? To survive in the enterprise, you have to rework your strategy, because everything starts with strategy. You have to rework your strategy to in the market. You've got to be flexible. You've got to be responsible. You've got to find out the change, adopt the change, and be ahead of the change. And remember, in business, like everybody else, what matters is not how fast you can run. What matters is the distance between you and your competitor. But in a jungle, a lion or tiger chases everybody. The one who runs faster than the others is going to be the winner, not the one who can outrun the tiger. Correct? So you've got to make your organization flexible, have a strategy. And strategy is all about thinking, which business leaders can do. And once you have the strategy, you need an organization to implement the strategy. The organization requires organization structure. And the structure has to be flexible. Like most people said today, we are going to deal with individual contractors. We're going to deal with virtual enterprises. We're going to deal with connected interest and interconnected interest. So there are no permanent interests. There are only short-term interests. How do you draw the best talent from the world? How to create the organization flexible, take care of that and do that. So organizations have to change. You've got to create a flexible structure. Then you've got to get people to work. You still need people because they've got to write these algorithms. We still not come to the stage. At least we are not envisaged as of now, today. I don't know about tomorrow. So you need a workforce which is in tune with what consumers want and what is going to happen. And that requires a different bent of mind, because you need to understand what consumers want. In our office, most people who are young, who run the funds, have 7 to 8 wallets. And there is no loyalty, Shrikant. They only look at all the wallet, count, discount area, cashback, 10%, 20%, oh, le lo. Just about 3 weeks back in the summer, in the sale, people are jumping up and down. We want to buy an iMac. I said, iMac, 1,30,000 bucks. I'm not going to pay. No, we're going to get discount for 80,000 bucks, 90,000 bucks. What's happening? The portals to give GMB, we're getting this and giving 20% off, 10% cash back. Everybody had a ball. They're buying Apple, for God's sake. They're not buying Flipkart. They're not buying Amazon. They're buying Apple. They're only platforms. They're giving away goodies to show GMB. I don't know what is going to happen to GMB. But that model is creating a new class of consumers. And the class of consumers are not loyal because they understand you have to be loyal to yourself. Because what matters in the end is you. The old notion of sacrifice, organization before self, agenda, and sing those nice songs, all gone. Individuality is paramount. Because why? We stay in secure times. We are all secure. We are not fighting wars. We are secure. We are not exactly poor. People have grown up in a different era. And all this works. So you've got to deal with this. And then with markets. Markets are going to change faster. Innovation cycles are going to come. A lot of money is going to come in the markets. The markets are going to respond. Now, the pace of change may be different. Some countries may be faster. Some countries may be slower. India is 10 years behind the curve. But you're going to deal with a new kind of consumer. You're going to deal with a new kind of world. And you're going to deal with new kind of products that are required by them. And like Sonia says, the products may be different. People may be different. The more people, different people are, the more they are the same. Right, Sonia? The human mind remains the same. We are people of emotion. We still have love, affection, fear, hatred, romance. That's not going to go away. Even if we spend 10 hours on that widget. It's a natural human instinct. Right, Sonia? Right? The songs will still evoke emotion in you. It will be different kind of songs. The rap, bap, and all that nice stuff, right? But whatever it is. So you're going to deal with them. And that's how you got to configure organization. And that's why we are here. And as HR professionals, you play a very important role. And let me tell you, the line managers don't know HR. They think they know HR. Because you understand enterprise. Enterprise is different from line. Enterprise is different from a unit. Enterprise is a collection of the emotions of everybody coalescing into one single strategy. And to get that moving, you got to work. And that's why as HR people, you got to think. You got to ideate. You got to understand business, like somebody said. You got to connect with business. Like you said, you got to connect with business. Nandita said, you got to connect with business. That for Nandita, there's a wisdom that comes out of long years of HR because she has found that survival is more important than giving increments every year. You can keep giving increments, but there's no money in the bank. What are you going to do? And the CFO is not going to give you because they're all becoming HR people. They said, we don't want to deal with that. Enterprise is making CFOs HR because they want to tell you and send you a message, right, Srikant? So, organizations have to change and you have to play the role because you have to work to understand the business, work with the CEO, strategize everything, and come together. And remember, you just have to be better than everybody else. But everybody cannot be better than everybody else. And what about jobs? The jobs in the middle, rule-based jobs will disappear. Left brain, right brain, creative jobs will remain. And the low-level jobs will remain because they cost too little. And in India, the labor intensity of the growth rate of the GDP will come down. If the labor intensity of a growth rate of 8% is 4%, it may come to 2%. In the United States, if the labor intensity is 1 for a GDP growth of 2.5%, it may come to 0. That's the problem. Here, labor intensity will come down. For 1 unit of output, the amount of labor will come down. In the auto sector, the entire line is automated. When Industry 4.0 comes with IoT, what is going to happen? From the market, you're going to get data as to what cars are sold. And that will be coalesced and come to the central database. And the central database will map the production for the next day and the units for the next day. And that will send the line to all the robots to start manufacturing. And then the message goes to all the suppliers to send the next day's components in a particular way. And the components will come in the night, will be arranged everywhere else, and you'll produce for the day to replenish stock. No human intervention. It will be one single algorithm. It's already happening. That's Industry 4.0. So when that happens, that integration is taking place. So you have to work with CEOs, you have to understand this, and you have to do it. And for people, people consume. Machines don't consume. Machines consume only power, right? And the power comes from solar. Machines don't eat. They don't have wine. They realize a glass of wine or whatever you folks drink today. They don't wear clothes. They don't collect jewelry. All the things that drives the economy. They don't see movies. Do robots see movies? I don't know. They might tomorrow. So, what about people? Now, all the brilliant guys in the tech world have come out with brilliant idea because they're truly brilliant, because they know if everything is a robot, who's going to buy the stuff? Will a robot buy an iPhone and keep talking? The robot will, and people need money. Basic income. Tax the robots as workers. Pay social security and give it to humans. So every human is represented by a robo, and you tax them, and that money comes to you, and you sit at home. So I asked a techie, what do people do? Hey, people, we got augmented realities. They're going to put a screen and see real and entertain themselves for 8 hours. Just like vegetables, yeah. That's what, we don't need more people. We only need 100,000 techies. They're crazy. But that's real. So they're going to give basic income to create demand because you vote. Human beings vote. Robots don't vote yet. Modi will have to come and say, what they do. Right? Robots are not natural citizens. So I'll end here by saying, we are in the age of disruption. Enterprises have to reconfigure. Enterprises to survive. Lifespan of companies are coming down. The average lifespan today is 30 years. Change will be much more rapid. It'll have different impact on different areas of human activity. And you people, as HR folks, are in the heart of it to make this change. Thank you very much, and all the best.